What is up, you guys? It is another episode of the Sci-Fly Zone where the multiverse meets the seventh inning stretch. It's your boy Trent and CJ, and today's destination is taking us back to Major League Baseball as we finally have our World Series matchups, the Dodgers versus the Blue Jays. And because it is these circumstances, we're bringing on another special guest. He's been here before. His name's Ian. He is a die-hard Dodger fan, and he was at the 3-homer 10K strikeout game, so he can give some first-hand POV experience and insight. So let's bring him in.
How we doing?
What's up, Ian?
Going on, Ian?
Oh man, what a run of baseball it's been since we last talked.
Oh my goodness.
There has been a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So crazy. So before we get into all of the madness, we do have to get into some sadness, as we are going to say an RIP to Jesus Montero, former MLB catcher, after passing away from the results of a traffic accident in Venezuela. He had a 5-year career with the Yankees and the Mariners, and he debuted in 2011 as the Yankees' #1 prospect at the time. And he did great in his seasonal debut, which led to him being traded to Seattle for Michael Pineda, who famously, if you guys can remember, was ejected for having pine tar in his neck during a game. So Montero had a pretty good follow-up season, batting .260 with 15 homers and 62 RBIs for the Mariners. You know, the rest of his career didn't see him having another full season, but his impact was definitely seen and felt during his time in the league. So I just wanted to give a quick segment to him, highlighting his career and his impact, and RIP to Jesus Montero.
Yeah, man, rest in peace for sure. Very tragic events. He was 35 years old, happened way too early. And yeah, I mean, he was the catcher for the Mariners right around when I started watching baseball, like the early 2010s. And so I remember hearing about him quite a bit. You know, he definitely made a huge impact for the Mariners in particular, and for the Yankees with that trade, getting Michael Pineda. But I mean, yeah, he caught some of the best like Mariners pitchers that we've seen in a very long time. He caught Felix Hernandez, he caught Hisashi Iwakuma, like some of the best guys he was the battery made of. So he's absolutely going to be missed.
For sure.
Yeah, RIP. No, it's just always tragic when someone so young, loses their life, especially in a freak accident like that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, Jose Fernandez, Oscar Taveras, just unfortunate accidents, but that's life.
Fortunately, yeah.
So back into playoff baseball, the Dodgers, they've made it. And since the Dodgers have made it and made it so easily, the salary cap and floor ideas and criticisms, implementations, all of that stuff, it's all being brought back into the forefront because people want control over what's going on. Because from the average viewer, it seems like the Dodgers are just kind of doing whatever they want. And I know we kind of talked about this last episode, but with it coming up again, I feel like new ideas and perspectives have been brought up, so it's worth talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean it's really arisen, I think, the last week, where it's been floated in articles and speculation about the MLB wanting a salary cap, the MLB wanting a salary floor, possibly. Players don't want to agree to that. It's a mess. I don't know what it's going to lead to. But again, you do realize that the funny thing to me is we're probably a Zach Wheeler blood clot not happening away from this conversation not being a thing. Because there's a very good chance if Zach Wheeler's healthy, the Dodgers get knocked out in round 1 by Philly. If Orion Kirkring picks up the ball and throws it to first and Blake Trinan comes into pitch, there's a good chance Game 5 is in Philadelphia and the Phillies win there with all the momentum. So it's just funny to think how these little things can spark such a big conversation.
Yeah, that is a fair point. And Ian, I'm glad you mentioned the situation in which the Dodgers get to this point. If you look at the records that they have against these teams, it does look pretty dominant. But that Philly series definitely could have gone a very different way. Like if Zach Wheeler's healthy and if Orion Kirkring figures himself out, then like it could be totally different. But I mean, yeah, like people don't really like. They're talking about the salary cap and the salary floor now because of the Dodgers getting to the World Series again in back-to-back years. But it was a bit of a struggle. They had to compete for sure against the Phillies. Like in order to get to this point, the Brewers series was a little bit different, but yeah, like it wasn't a surefire like guarantee that the Dodgers were going to be in the World Series when the playoffs started. You know, they definitely had some hurdles, but I mean, they've just been they're just a very good team. You know, they're a great team during the regular season, and they just get that much better in the postseason. And the salary cap debate has heated up quite a bit, and I can kind of understand both sides, because if you're the players, like they're very adamant about not having a salary cap, and I can understand that, because if I'm a player, I'm not going to be like, yeah, I think you should have a limit for how much you can pay me. I think that's a really good idea. But then the smaller market teams are also like frustrated by it, because they don't have really a chance to sign some of those guys, because not only do other big market teams like the Dodgers, the Red Sox, or the Yankees have more money to pay guys, but they're usually performing better. So players will want to go to those teams, for most likely regardless of the money. Like if you have identical contracts from the Dodgers and the Royals, like you're probably going to take the contract with the Dodgers, because there's just going to be likelihood for more success there. So I really don't know if they're going to be able to come to an agreement soon. I'm very interested in what's going to happen if there is a lockout, and how it could affect free agency and just baseball in general.
Yeah,
very good points.
I think you know, you make some great points, CJ. And I think the thing we need to talk about too is owners wanting a salary cap, right? Because the fans are going to talk about it till they're blue in the face. You're going to see, and again, fans have no power. So you're going to have fan is short for fanatic, people that are crazy about their small market team that doesn't do squat and ends up getting knocked out in the playoffs every year because they don't have any dogs. I mean, you look at Milwaukee's first rumor of the offseason for Milwaukee is they want to trade Freddie Peralta. So the team that just got swept wants to trade away their best player. Doesn't seem like a very good competitive strategy. And that's what they've been doing. They got rid of Corbin Burns. They get rid of their guys. The owners want a salary cap, but fans, listen up. You don't seem to understand the why. Bob Nutting and the Pittsburgh Pirates do not mind the LA Dodgers being a dynasty. The rest of the MLB, the owners don't hate the Dodgers being a dynasty. I mean, of course, you know, maybe if you had like a Steinbrenner type owner that is obsessed with winning, but most owners aren't, especially these small market owners. They do not care about winning. Why do they want the salary cap, and why are the players fighting against it? Because the owners want a cap on how much they have to pay players. They want a cap on how much they have to pay players. Right now, no salary cap keeps them honest. But a salary cap like it is in the NFL and in the NBA, you can't just pay a guy, NBA, I want to pay you LeBron $100 million a year. No, there's a cap. Like $58 million is the most you can pay a guy. That's why the owners want it. They want an excuse to be cheap. They don't want it for competitive balance. But these media articles are going to spin it to fans and spoon feed you. Oh, we want you to be competitive. They don't care. Nobody cares. The owners don't care. The owners want the Dodgers to be a dynasty. You know why? Because when the Dodgers roll into Pittsburgh or they roll into Phoenix, ticket prices go way up and they sell much more money. They sell much more money. They make much more money selling tickets, selling concessions. They can make a custom blue Dodgers drink for the weekend. The owners want the Dodgers to be a dynasty. Fox wants the Dodgers to be a dynasty. Everybody but you, not you guys. You guys are smart baseball fans, but everybody but you, the fan, wants the Dodgers to be a dynasty. Well, I'm sorry, you're not going to get your way. And also, you know, we can go into a lot of things, but it's the owners being greedy. That's why they want the salary cap.
100%. And I think between the two, you know, if we were to have either a floor or a cap, I'd prefer a floor, because I think a floor is immensely more productive for the league and the players than having a cap or ceiling per se, because having an agreed upon minimum that the owners have to pay, you know, possibly guaranteeing players' wants and needs are met, we know, with money and other insurances flowing into the team where they can also like properly reinvest it into themselves. Like that sounds like a pretty good idea. And I understand why people want a cap, because, you know, the average person thinks the Dodgers are just doing whatever they want and they're outbidding everybody, and that sucks for their small market team. But also it's a product of their owners being super stingy with their bids and their investment strategies, because they don't want to invest any more money than they have to, like you were saying, like the Pirates, like the Marlins, the A's, Angels, White Sox. I can go on. I want owners to be able to go all in on their team like the Dodgers have been. Like, that's awesome. I would love to have my owner be like, I'm going to throw in almost $1 billion into the team this year because I want us to win the World Series. Like, that would make me so happy to hear as an Angels fan. But I want to eliminate stingy owners more than anything, because you can't treat your team like it's a stock that you hold on to over time. Like, baseball changes every single day. New information is relevant literally hourly. New discussions are brought up hourly. Trades and injuries can happen at any time to any player. A new guy can get called up, new guy can get called down. Like, there are so many moving parts to owning an organization. I feel like some owners just like the fact that they can own the logo and have so many people answering to them.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, that is such a good point.
Yeah, and also the idea of having both a cap and a floor. The NHL has a pretty good system. I'll give you an example of how it works. The NHL salary cap is recalculated each year based on league revenue. Under the CBA, players and owners split hockey-related revenue roughly 50-50, and the cap are adjusted accordingly. The CBA defines a midpoint payroll, and the cap ceiling is a certain percentage above the midpoint, and the floor is the exact same percentage below. And since 2013, the cap has been set at 15 above and below the midpoint. So in 2024 to 2025, the midpoint was 76.5 million. So 88 was the ceiling and 65 was the floor. So that means all teams have to spend at least 65 million on their team, but teams cannot spend any more than 88 million. Imagine how different the league would be if there was a difference of only 20 million between all the teams compared to the hundreds of millions that it currently is.
And that's just spending on the payroll, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no cap on how you can spend it, in terms of research and development. There's no cap on
no. You can spend within your limit however you want. You just have to at least meet 65, but no more than 88.
That is a really interesting process for a salary cap, for a salary floor and cap. I have no idea how that would work in baseball, but I'm so curious to see what that would be like. I mean, I couldn't imagine the Pirates or the Rockies, or the Marlins or the A's spending a similar amount of money as the Mets or the Yankees or the Red Sox in an offseason. Like, maybe if they sign one big guy, that they'll have that. Luis Severino is the biggest contract that the A's have ever made, and it was 3 years, 67 million. So that would be basically the salary floor of the NHL. It is, baseball is so, it's so unique in so many ways, but it's so interesting to me that it's the only main American sport that just doesn't have anything with regards to a salary cap or a salary floor.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You could also possibly do what basketball does, and the NBA incentivizes teams and players to stay with the team that you come up with or you get drafted by. So, for example, you've got the Supermax option where you can, sign a Supermax extension, or you can sign a Supermax extension to stay with the team you're with. So you could pay a little bit more to keep your guy. You're going to have to fork out more money, but you have a distinct advantage. You can negotiate the contract before they go to free agency. So there's also that too. Man, this is just such a nuanced conversation the more we dig into it, because where does this end is my question. If you do the salary, and again, it's probably a really simple, quick conversation. Owners don't want to have to pay their guys that much, obviously, because they see it as a business. Players don't want to have a cap on how much money they make. The competitive balance thing that the fans are talking about, throw it away. That has nothing to do with this conversation. Because at that point, what are you going to do if, we talked about the MLB? You say, here's the midpoint, you can pay as little as this. Cool. Dodgers and Yankees and Pirates and everyone can agree to that, and they'll D-backs, they'll all agree to pay the same amount of money. Well, at the end of the day, the Dodgers still bring in more revenue. The Yankees still bring in more revenue. These coastal teams bring in more revenue. So you got to imagine, okay, we're going to reinvest that money, like I said, in research and development, in facilities, in analytics. We're going to be smarter. We're going to invest our money in being smart. We're going to invest our money. So when the Dodgers have the best farm system in the MLB every year, because that's where they put their money, and the other teams' owners, like the Angels, you've seen they've thrown money at players. I mean, we could say the Angels had more big superstars at one point than the Dodgers currently do, and they had Pujols, Trout, and Hamilton still in their primes. Vernon Wells, all those guys.
Yeah.
Well, MLB is built in the farm system. So what are you going to – so is there going to be a cap then like on – oh, well, it's not fair that the Dodgers spend money to research and development. It's not fair that they treat their players – like when are we going to stop this conversation eventually is my question for a lot of people that want to argue that, you know?
Yeah. My answer would just be I don't care how you spend your money. You just have to spend at least this amount of money into your team. And I don't think there should necessarily be a limit on how much is going back. Like I wouldn't really want to cap because, you know, like at the end of the day, the players are the ones providing all of the success and making things happen. So they should be the ones receiving the most dividends for said success.
Yeah. You work for it. Sacrifice a lot of time.
Yeah.
You're the product too.
God forbid I'm on the side of the worker.
How dare you?
Yeah. So one of the workers per se, Shohei Ohtani, he worked pretty hard in that most recent game that you were at. Tell us about it.
Dude, it was seeing the price of the World Series tickets, I knew that was completely out of the realm of possibility. I think weirdly enough, the Dodgers World Series tickets are still about $500 cheaper than what you'll see in Toronto's cheapest tickets. I think Toronto's tickets are going for $1,300 a piece. Dodgers are going for about $800 a piece after fees.
And that's in US dollars, right? Like not in Canadian currency.
Yeah, that's in US dollars.
That's crazy.
So a couple of my friends that I watched the entire World Series with last year, we watched every game together at different bars and restaurants.
Oh, that's fun.
I got a text from one of them. He said, you know, I think me and my brother might want to go to this game on Saturday. And I'm like, dude, they're going to sweep them. You might want to get Friday tickets. So he's like, would you want to go? I'm like, well, possibly. So we got the four of us together and we agreed. We all watched this. We all wanted to see this moment happen. We can watch them go to the World Series possibly. So we get the tickets. Last minute that morning, on Friday morning, I had work off. So it kind of worked out perfectly. I don't live too far from the stadium. I live in LA. So it was, you know, it's still like an hour away. But it was perfect. We got the tickets, grabbed myself a little Surfside upon entry. So I had a little iced tea lemonade rocking with a splash of vodka.
Of course.
Never sat in the reserves before at Dodger Stadium. I was impressed. The behind home plate view was pretty good. When you sit a little higher up at Dodger Stadium, you get the bird's eye view of everything in the mountains. It actually looks really cool. You know, we settle in, Shohei strikes out the side, or at least gets 3 outs on strikeouts. And then he comes up and he hits a bomb. We're like, damn, dude, okay, home run, and he's pitching the same game. This is cool. This is what you want to see. And mind you, at this point, I had to go up to use the restroom right as like he's about to pitch. So I just post up in like a seat higher up. And he, you know, gets the strikeouts and then he gets a home run. I'm like, shoot, I'm kind of superstitious. I don't want to leave this seat. I'm away from all my friends, whatever. So I stay there. And, you know, he has some more Surfside, having a good time, meeting random people around me. And then he comes back up. He's pitched well, still pitching a shutout, comes up in the fourth. And he hits this ball that I don't conceivably understand how a human being has the strength to hit. And he hits it out of Dodger Stadium. He hits it over the pavilions. It's not even like he hit it down the like over the bullpen or anything, which that would still be impressive. He hits it over, you know, in the outfield where there's seats.
Yeah, like you really only see out of the park home runs in Dodger Stadium from the right-handed hitters going to left field. You rarely see it from batting the left side going to right field. Yeah, no, it's unheard of. Willie Stargell did it twice, and Giancarlo Stanton more recently. My dad got to see the Willie Stargell one happen in person too. Back in the 70s, which was pretty awesome. Okay, dude, you and your dad got some good luck going to games, bro. Yeah. Like that's in your blood for sure. Now, there is an important caveat too on that, similar to that point you want to make about Shohei Ohtani. In my life, I've been to 2 Shohei Ohtani starts. I went postseason game where he ends up hitting the 3 home runs, the 10 strikeouts to solidify himself as like the greatest player to ever walk the planet. And I went to 1 Shohei start back in 2023 in July when he was still on the Angels, and it was the White Sox against the Angels, and he hit 2 home runs to right field where I was sitting, and he had 10 strikeouts. So the 2 10 strikeout multi-home run games that Shohei Ohtani has had in his career, I happened to be there for both games.
You have seen 2 Shohei Ohtani games in person, and he's hit 5 home runs and struck out 20 batters.
Yes.
I think the next time you go to a Shohei Ohtani game that he's starting, put a little bit into your betting app. Just
get on one parlay and throw like, my entire life savings, because it's gonna hit.
He's gonna hit 4 home runs and strike out 14 batters next time.
Yeah, he's gonna combine. He's gonna go for the Max Scherzer record and then the Sean Green record. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Oh my God.
He's God.
Yeah,
Pretty
much.
Pretty much. He's about to win. He hit more home runs this year than he did last year. He had 55 home runs this year. He's about to win his 4th MVP.
And he went 50-50 last year.
Yeah.
Recovering from Tommy John.
Oh my God, dude. This is his 8th season in the MLB, which is weird because it doesn't feel like he's been around for that long.
He's had a lot of Tommy Johns.
Yeah, that's true.
He still throws 100.
He's not a human being, man. We got to stop being surprised about this guy.
Yeah, it's not normal. I don't know. Do you guys remember when he signed with the Angels back, right, in the winter of 2017?
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Like, what in the Mickey Mouse was going on?
It was...
American League had the advantage at the time. And it was between them and Seattle. He wanted to play on the West Coast. Angels had a lot more to offer at the time, it seemed. They didn't seem that far away. Remember, this is like 2 years post Kansas City thing. So they were still pretty relevant at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we weren't on our playoff drought at that time. We were still not considered that.
I just thought our history of signing free agents was just like, I thought it ruined our image already at that point. But, another guy that is kind of playing like God, Vlad Jr.
Yep.
Guys, he's only struck out 3 times in the playoffs so far. More guys have struck out in a single game than he has the entire postseason. This series went to game 7, not to mention all the other series. And he is batting .442 with a 1.440 OPS.
He's been unbelievable for the Blue Jays in the postseason. He had a great season as well. Yeah. That extension that they signed him at the beginning of the year is panning out so well. That was clearly such a good decision. He's locked down. He's probably going to be a Blue Jay for his life. I mean, he seems like he loves it there. And you can tell, by how much, the emotion that he shows, in his at-bats, and the emotion that he shows in the interviews afterwards. There have been so many pictures of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as a 6 or 7 year old in a big Expos jersey next to his dad in the last couple of days. And he literally said it. He was born for this, and he's proving it right now.
He was crying on the field too, bro. Everything he had worked for, came to fruition in that moment.
Yeah, it's been incredible to watch.
Yeah,
it feels like this is his real coming of age moment as an MLB player. I don't know how to describe it. He's, number one prospect. The weight of the world was on him to be, the best hitter in the MLB. He came up as this can't miss prospect, son of a former Hall of Famer. Funny enough, the only guy I can think in recent time that the Angels signed as a free agent, Shohei was a minor league free agent. I talk about it with my dad. Vladimir Guerrero is about the only guy that signed with the Angels where they were like, wow, he lived up to every expectation. He was great for the Angels. So his dad was money. And Vlad Jr. has been good. He's been a good MLB player up to this point. Very good. All-star. But he hasn't quite had, before this postseason, that run where you're like, okay, for a sustained period of time, he's turned into that. But I think this postseason kind of shuts the door on that. Anyone that doubted the extension, anyone that had questions, now he looks like a guy that you could conceivably see in Cooperstown one day, just based off this postseason alone. And it matters. It carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, dude, he's slugging .930 and he's on base is .510. He leads his team in hits by 8, home runs by 2. And he's tied for runs. He is literally doing everything besides stealing bases. But he doesn't need to steal bases when he just walks past them as he's trotting them. You know what I mean? It's fine.
It's been incredible to see. And Ian, you're totally right. I feel like for the first several years of his career, he did have that crazy 2021 where he finished second MVP, hit 48 home runs.
Yeah.
second behind Shohei Ohtani, talking about him again. But it did feel like for a while he was like, okay, this guy has a lot of potential and he's going to be one of the best hitters in baseball. And we are experiencing that right now with his breakout and with what he's been doing. He is currently one of the best hitters in baseball, and he will be for a long time.
Yep. Absolutely.
Sure. So, Dodgers versus Blue Jays. How do you feel about the Blue Jays versus it being the Mariners?
I think either team presents similar challenges. I don't really think there was an easier opponent or an opponent I wanted better. The Blue Jays offense can put up a bunch of runs on you really fast. And the Mariners, I think, had the most well-rounded, balanced roster in the playoffs out of the American League. So when it comes to that, I don't really think it makes a difference for the Dodgers. As a baseball fan, I wanted Seattle. I'm not going to be one of those people that, oh, well, I have a favorite team, and then my second favorite team's this, and then I also like I'm a Dodgers fan, but I've always liked the Mariners too. Like I've always for whatever reason, like they're likable, at least for me. Like they've never really been a threat. They've always had good players. They've always tried to build a good team. They've always made an effort to, put together a good franchise. They could just never get it done. And that fan base is passionate. I love grunge music. So it would be cool to see him, dancing in the streets to the guy on the drums playing Smells Like Teen Spirit. So I wanted to see Seattle. I think that would have been a lot of fun. It's also a little bit easier of a travel just up to Seattle versus across the country and out of the country into Toronto. But they're both good teams. Yeah, I still think Toronto will probably take them to six games or something.
Yeah, it should be a good series. I mean, it was going to be a good series either way, I'm sure. But this is going to be a very good series. I mean, both of these teams were some of the best teams in baseball, especially at home. During the regular season, the Blue Jays were 54-27 at home, which is the second best in the American League. Or no, the best in the American League and the second best in baseball. And the Dodgers were 52-29, which is tied for the second best in the National League, tied for the third best in baseball. So both of these teams, I mean, the fan bases are very, very excited for this. It's going to be a packed stadium every single game. The energy is going to be incredible. I'm really looking forward to it. I did kind of want the Mariners to be in, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Vladdy in the World Series. He's going to be awesome to see. I want to see Vlad going up against Shohei Ohtani. I want to see that matchup really bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be great, man. It's going to be a very good series.
Yeah. I think the Blue Jays have a better offense, but the Mariners had better pitching. So I feel like having the better offense in the World Series is a bit more entertaining.
Yeah, the Blue Jays, because they led the MLB in average, they do a better job of putting guys on base. Where to me, the Mariners were more of a home run team. Like they kind of relied on the long ball and it just failed them. Whereas if they were hitting home runs, I think they would have definitely, advanced to the World Series. So the Blue Jays had just enough pitching. I don't know if that just enough pitching is going to be enough against the Dodgers offense, though. Yeah. I don't know if Kevin Gausman and the band of misfit toys and 41-year-old Max Scherzer and 21-year-old Trey Savage is gonna be enough, but the offense, it'll certainly be. They'll put up runs. I would take the over in every game, probably.
It is. There are going to be a lot of runs scored for sure. I mean, the Blue Jays have the highest average runs per game in the playoffs so far, like 6.5, which is like 2 more runs than any other team in the playoffs right now. But the Dodgers have some of the best pitching in baseball. They have the best pitching staff that we've seen, and the Blue Jays haven't had to face that Dodgers pitching staff yet. So I'm really curious to see who comes out on top there. The Dodgers have allowed 2.8 runs per game compared to the 6.5 runs scored for the Blue Jays. So it's going to be firefighting with fire. Something's going to have to crack, and it's either going to be the Blue Jays offense is just going to get muted by the Dodgers pitching, just like what the Dodgers have done with every other team in the playoffs so far, or the Blue Jays are going to have those big innings and score 4 or 5 runs in an inning, and the bullpen is going to find a way to shut it down in some games.
Tougher test than the Yankees, I think, than last year. They have a better offense. Though I do think the Yankees have the better starting pitching. It should be fun. I mean, it'll be an exciting series. It'll kind of be like a new little rivalry. The George Springer twist makes it fun. I think Dodger fans do not forget. They've not forgotten the 2017 World Series. Nobody's forgotten the 2017 World Series or the Astros from that period, but especially Dodgers fans. So that does it. As a Dodger fan, it's easier for me to root against the Blue Jays. I would have had, of course, I would have rooted for the Dodgers, but I wouldn't even want to say I'm rooting against the Mariners. It was yes, I want the Dodgers to win, but this is the last team I wanted you to have to beat to win.
Mm-hmm.
So this makes it a little easier, actually, as a Dodgers fan.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. The Blue Jays or George Springer in particular, is going to be getting a lot of heat in Los Angeles for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because of what happened in 2017, but also he's just been having a very good postseason and season in general.
He had a great season, yeah.
He's one of the best, probably one of the most successful postseason hitters that we've ever seen. I think he's third all time in postseason homers. He's third all time in go ahead postseason homers. He's going to come up in some very big situations, and there's going to be a lot of pressure from the Dodgers fans.
Yeah, and he homered 4 or 5 games in a row too. In one of the World Series, it was I forgot which one, but bro knows how to perform in October.
Yeah, he just turns it on, and he's had the best offensive season of his career this year too. It's been insane at the age of 35, 36.
Yeah, we'll see if he can do it without a trash can this time.
Yeah. So far, we've seen, but who knows if they'll bring it out for the World Series? We'll find
out. One thing I found interesting looking into this game and looking into this next series is the Dodgers were a wild card team. The Blue Jays had a bye round, but the Dodgers have still played one less game than the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have played 11 games against the Dodgers 10 in 2 series compared to 3, because the Dodgers have just been completely steamrolling every team that they go up against, especially the Brewers. Sorry, Brewers. I really like them, but it was embarrassing. They scored 4 runs in 4 games.
I think the Angels could have done a better series against the Dodgers.
Hey, we sweep them during the regular season. That's what we do.
Yeah,
we turn it on against the Dodgers.
The Angels and the Pirates. I've never understood it. Those teams just own the Dodgers. I'm glad it'll never come to fruition, because I would not want to have to. Yeah. I would not want to have to go through that gauntlet on one side.
Wouldn't that be a fun World Series though? Highway Series, World Series.
There'd be a lot of fights.
Whatever they call it.
There'd be so many fights.
There was a period of time, it looked like, I think it was 2009, both of them were in the championship series. Of course, we could have had Dodgers, Angels, and instead we get Phillies and Yankees. But Dodgers, Angels, that would have been. Do you guys think we'll ever see that in our lifetime, the Dodgers and Angels World Series? Because it feels like we had our chance to see it back 10, 15 years ago.
I think within the next 20 years, it'll happen one time.
Really? Okay.
20 years is a long time.
Do you think Artie Moreno sells the team?
I don't think he makes it in the next 20 years. I think he's too old. Right. I don't want him to die in the next 20 years. That's not what I'm saying.
That's what you mean. Oh, I thought you meant
no. I'm just saying he's an old guy. I don't know how long he's gonna want to be doing this for. I don't know if he's gonna ride it out all the way to the grave. Either way, that's not going to be good for our team. So I feel like at some point during the next 20 years, we're going to see a change in ownership, which will hopefully be a good one.
If the Angels and the Dodgers do face each other in the World Series, it's just going to have to depend on whether or not the Angels can make it there, because the Dodgers have made 5 out of their last 9 World Series and seasons, and it's probably going to stay like that for a while. I feel like we're going to be seeing that for several more years. So, hey, if the Angels can figure it out, if the Angels manage to make it, hopefully in Trout's career span, but I mean, who knows at this point? Who knows how much longer he's going to be playing full time? So
that'd be nice. He deserves it. Honestly, if the Angels traded him so he can get a World Series, I'd be okay with that. He deserves it.
I could totally see. I've always said that. What would just be so, just the essence of Trout's career is he plays all these years on the Angels. Historic run, one of the greatest players of all time, first ballot, probably unanimous Hall of Famer. Never gets it done, never can even make the postseason with that team. And then at the tail end of his career, when he ends up being a highly paid platoon outfielder with 1 year left on his massive contract, the Angels will eat almost all of it to get some prospect, and they'll ship him out somewhere to some team where he'll be like a 4th outfielder, and he'll win a championship that last season before he retires. Just like Kershaw. Kershaw's like Kershaw carried the Dodgers for all those years in the rotation, and now when he's finally winning his rings, it's like he's not even really a part of the team anymore. Weird how that happens.
Philadelphia, man. If it's going to be anywhere, people are saying he could go to Philadelphia. Trout. I mean, he's from around the area generally. Like he's an Eagles fan. Everybody always says if he's going to play for another team, it's going to be Philly. And as much as I want him to be an Angel for his whole career, like if he does go to Philadelphia, I wouldn't be mad at him. And if he does go to Philadelphia, he's probably going to win the World Series with them that year because that's how it works with the Angels.
Yep.
Yep. He
could be teammates with Brandon Marsh again.
Brandon Marsh. Yeah.
Bro's got some slick hair. I don't get it.
Yeah. Greasy.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And Trout and Harper on the same team. Like that'd be
cool.
Be pretty cool too.
Old guys rule.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that wraps it up today, guys. What do you say?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Great discussion, y'all. If you guys made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. We're going to be covering all the World Series stuff going on. Starts this Friday. Very excited. So we'll be going all over that. Again, thank you, Ian, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Getting your insight. It's always great to have you.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to connect with you guys.
Yes, sir. 100%. So this has been the Sci-Fly Zone, where the multiverse meets the 7th inning stretch. Hope you guys have a good one. Later.